Hey guys, welcome Musky Road Rules Podcast and Patreon. Guys, I really appreciate everyone that comes in and listens to us yak and talk about musky fishing every week. As always, I always love my audio listeners on the podcast, but also think about the Patreon. You know, this week we're actually giving away, I'm going to throw it up here for guys that can see, one of the Haymaker lures made right there in Wisconsin, a handmade. This is a walk the dog top water, and looks like a sexy shad pattern. And we're going to be giving that away tonight. But if you want to become a member of the Patreon, it's super easy. All you have to do is go to patreon.com, click that subscribe button, and actually become a member. It says membership. That's the way they do it. And it's $8 a month. And you get all the episodes that we've done before this. Plus, you get registered for our monthly giveaways. Again, Haymaker Lures has donated this bait here, and it is cool. So let's get into it. I got my big old wheel here. I got all the names listed right now, and I'm going to click here and go for a spin. Who's the lucky winner? We're going round and round and round and round and round. Oh boy, here's a last name for you. Adam Cherholsky? Adam Chernohosky. Oh boy, this is a Wisconsin name if I have ever seen it. But Adam, you are the big winner tonight for the Haymaker lure. I'll get in contact with you. I'll send you the information and have you get with the guys at Haymaker, and he'll send this bait out to you. Now, guys, for the next month's giveaway, we're going to have some stuff. I had the guys on from Big Action Lures, the Big Action Gliders, and we're going to be giving away one of his gliders made right up there in the Eastern Ontario section. You can see it there, the Cisco pattern that he makes. Super cool baits, very, very high quality, and I cannot wait for someone to win this. So we're going to give this away at the 1st of July, the end of June, last podcast of the month. And like I said, if you become a member of Patreon, you're going to be registered to maybe get a chance to win one of these and try them out. So make sure, Adam, you are the lucky winner of the Haymaker. I'll get a hold of you through email here at the end of the podcast, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, tonight on the podcast, the guy I've had on here before does a great job. Fishing guide up in the Hayward, Wisconsin area. We have Mr. Steve Genson. Let me get him up here on the screen. I did that wrong. There we go. Steve, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing good, Greg. Great. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Not a problem. Now, you're up there in the Hayward area, northwest Wisconsin, and your guys' season just came here last week, so you haven't been out a ton. Well, I should say the old Musky
theoretically.
Theoretically. Yeah. Well, let's just start with that. How did, with this year, it came in early, first Saturday in May, just like the Southern season, the whole state came in there. What did you notice, and then how has it affected anything as far as you can see?
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg, it has been interesting. You probably know, I think I talked to you maybe a month ago or so before when we had our April conservation hearings, and we actually kind of the musky community, Northern Wisconsin, united together, and everybody was pretty much against this whole thing. And actually had Pete Manning get a hold of me. We had a Legion of Gentlemen across the entire northern region, so we had a representative for all 20 counties in the northern zone.
Nice.
I did Burnett County. Scott Keeper did Washburn County, where I live. Pete did Sawyer County.
How calm was Scott Keeper?
Yeah, I have no idea. I was in another county. Amen for that. But we had a lot of really dedicated people who really love musky, and we had somebody representing in every single county in the northern zone, really looking to rescind that law to get her back to the Memorial Day opening. It was a unanimous vote to change her back in my county, and I think it was pretty close in almost every county that way. I think we won them all. We have a couple state representatives that are actually going to submit a bill on our behalf that will hopefully rescind that, which would happen within next year. which
Okay.
is what we're looking for. If that doesn't happen, if the bill doesn't pass, and you know how politics work, we might have to go through the Conservation Congress process, which takes 3 years. So hopefully we don't have to do that. But I'll tell you what, it didn't really matter. I saw an entirety of 2 boats fishing for muskie in the entire month prior to muskie opener here, which really surprised me, Greg. I thought we'd have a little bit more participation in that and maybe a few out-of-state guys coming up to try and get in on it. But honestly, all the local people and all the guides in my area held off till Memorial Day, and I saw really nobody targeting a muskie until season opened, and then I saw the normal amount. People were back at it, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, I talked to Gus Manti last week about it too, and I think the same thing he's seen over in the Eagle River area. He didn't notice a ton of guys out doing it. I think another thing too that helped was probably May was pretty cold this year, right? I mean, it was, the weather wasn't the best, and hopefully a lot of those fish weren't even where they, I'm sure things were behind to start. I know now you guys are warming up, but I'm sure things were way behind, and that probably helped with it. But the thing that Gus had mentioned to me, and I never really thought about it, is the guys doing an accidental catch walleye fishing could now keep the fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I never thought about it, and then he started mentioning that, and I'm like, oh, that makes really good sense.
Just opening up an opportunity for those guys to maybe whack one and throw it in the well or whatever, and not that happens a ton, but we need them all. Our stocking has been reduced. Stocking is reduced even more this year after pretty dismal numbers the last few years. So to bother them through the natural reproduction portion of it and risk that just doesn't seem like it's a smart choice. And we're really choosing conservation over exploitation is really the kind of the phrase I've been using when I describe it to people. It's like, there's no reason to be out there to catch them early. We have plenty of time to fish for them. They're hardly ever biting anyway when they're spawning, and it just doesn't make sense. So for us here in the northern Wisconsin, especially on our smaller bodies of water where natural reproduction is a thing and they're not stocking much, we need to protect those fisheries, and that's basically what we're thinking about doing there.
Yeah. How did this even get started? I mean, what even prompted it?
So it was a rule pass. You know the guy. His name is Don Pfeiffer, man. Donnie passed this several years ago, and through diligence got it to pass through our Conservation Congress hearing, and shame on us for not paying attention and not seeing that it was going to happen. And then it got passed by the Natural Resources Board, and then it got put into law. So, it's the process. It can be put in by any individual, and this particular one put it through and got it to pass. So, unfortunately, it's a deal that we're dealing with. And like I say, it really hasn't been that big of an issue. I don't think many guys took advantage. I'm not concerned about the future. I think we're all on the same page as far as how we're going to protect our resource. So the goal was to get more opportunity, more fishing opportunity, to open up, more guys coming up north earlier, giving more money to the local communities, and absolutely none of that happened. Zero of that. So it had zero effect. So
I think
what I was supposed to.
Yeah, like I for me, what I'm thinking there is, and I go back to the thing that Gus told me about, the walleye guy or panfish fisherman getting the muskie and maybe keeping it or something like that. I think that was probably not necessarily people muskie fishing, but people just out fishing, and then I think that could cause more harm than anything. And the stocking efforts there, I mean, is the state just, are they just not making it a priority, or is it just because we deal with that in Kentucky? I mean, that's just something we deal with.
It's totally about resources and funding, and they just keep cutting. Unfortunately, a lot of our northern waters here are getting neglected a little bit. Not that fishing is bad; it's still good, but it could be much better. And you know the
Sure.
story. You see
I've
the
dealt
peaks and
with it.
valleys in muskie hunting. You chase them more than any man on earth that I know, being the vagabond muskie guy that you are. But peaks and valleys are a reality, and you have highs and lows no matter what the fishery is, how big, how small.
Yeah.
And up here, it's certainly a reality with some of our smaller fisheries, and we want to keep those numbers going as best we can, and with recent cutbacks and revenue and money going to the natural resources programs, it's been a struggle, and I feel bad for my biologist. He feels bad too. It's out of his hands a little bit. They're looking at different ways to bring in revenue for the resources board. Maybe some possible sales tax stuff and things like that. License increases probably won't do it, but they are looking at it. They're trying to figure it out. It's just a matter of how fast and what they do, and blah blah.
I say do like when somebody was running for like prom king or something, that they set the jars out at the gas station with the lid put on
right?
it.
As long as we knew where the dollars were going, Greg, people would jam that jar full. But unfortunately, we don't always know where our dollars are going, and
I think they go to a lot to the guy who's working the register and he needs to buy a 12. I think that's kind of what I learned growing up, that wasn't the best way to do it. It is. I mean, I'm sure Wisconsin, every state. Kentucky, I know for sure is, a lot of the licensing fee. I don't know, but in Kentucky, a lot of the licensing fee actually goes to a general fund, and that's never good because you don't know where.
So I think we have issues with that too. I think a lot of the money goes in a general fund that they don't always have access to, and there's money going where they can't get at it, and that's an issue for us. And is what it is. We're dealing with it. They're trying to do better, but right now they're not necessarily doing that. And, a lot of our monies are going to our big fisheries like Green Bay. They're getting all the fish they want. Good for them. So all those 100 guys can go over there and fight over each other, battle it out. But a lot of these northern fisheries are getting neglected in the means of that. And, it is what it is. We've seen those trophy fisheries come and go too. And, right now, all the money's kind of going that way, which is, good for them, not great for everybody else.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, on a happier note, let's talk about fishing right now. How's it been?
Oh yeah,
since opener.
So it's been really fun. Honestly, the muskies have been happy. We're in water temps in the upper 60s to low 70s in most of the places I've been. I think I've caught muskies out of 5 different bodies of water in the last week or so. We've only had one day without, and that happened to be today, which, whatever, it is what it is. And we're actually in the full moon period, so I was hoping for definitely more than what happened today. But we've had fish in the bag every other day and multiple fish a few days. Nothing huge yet. It's mostly in the 30 range up to about 40, but things are starting to click a little bit. I heard of a 45-inch tiger yesterday that's been caught in the area. Yeah, so, and another big one that I saw, I would say it was probably a little bit bigger than that. So a few of the larger fish are starting to get happy, which is cool. Water temperatures have increased a ton in the last week or so. We went from 60-degree ranges up to those 70-degree ranges pretty fast. We've had a lot of warm weather. So it's taking a little bit for that, temperature to get into the water column, so to speak, but I am seeing increases in metabolism. The fish are chasing, they're biting hard when they do bite. So definitely all good signs, things that point me to moving faster and go bigger in our lure selection. But so far we've had some pretty consistent things that have been working well.
How is the night? Are the nights cold? Are they
honestly, yeah. So we're still 40s to low 50s a lot of the nights. I had 42 one night or one morning this week. So still a little chill in the air, which is good. I felt like we got a lot of heat really fast, which is good. We need the warmth, but sometimes those really fast, dramatic changes aren't always the best, as you know.
Yeah, well, I think
it's kind of been soaking in well, so I think everything's been transitioning pretty solidly.
I think too with that fast warm up like that, you get in the mindset of, oh wow, the water's just warm, I can do this, and
Yeah.
why aren't the
Yeah,
fish
yeah.
here? And I go, well,
Stick your hand 1 foot down in
stick
that
your
water column.
stick your leg in the water, and you'll learn real
Yeah.
quick. It's not that
It's
not that warm, and I think that is for a lot of people when they come up, they might see that and think, oh wow, this water is a little, it's not, you being on the water every day, you get to see the transition of and climb of water levels and all that good stuff, or water temps and that good stuff. I noticed it looks like June. I'm getting ready to leave for the angle. I'm hoping tomorrow sometime, and pulling out of Kentucky for the season, and hoping to see that up there, because I know I talked to some guys that were up over Memorial Day smallmouth fishing in the angle, and the water was 49 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I'm like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been like you. I mean, they've been in the last 8 days or so, it's been like in the 70s and 80s, and it looks like I looked at the 15-day, and it looked like things were really going to warm up for us, which I'm very, very happy about.
Basically the same, 80, almost 80 every day.
Yeah, last year when I went up there, when I first got up, they had kind of a warm May, and so, but June was kind of cool. I got up there, it was like 57 and raining. I'm like, this is bullshit. But I guess I am, halfway into Canada. So, but it was, but we, it definitely, here in Kentucky, May was cold. Our water temperature really didn't move. We were in the mid 60s for over a month, and the fish got real stagnant. It was just really, really tough to find them. They got, you start trying to think in your head, you're like, oh, they're always here right now. This is, these temps, they're always here right now. And there were some fish there, but they just were slow, lethargic, and very, very inconsistent. So, but it's warming up here now, but still not crazy. Our water temps are nowhere near 80 degrees. They're like 72, 73. And I think guys will be able to fish here for at least another 15 days and be good. And our water clarity is ridiculous right now. We've not had a lot of rain this spring, and no floods. And actually, we were low up until Memorial Day week, and we got 5.5 inches of rain. But we were in such a drought, the ground soaked it all up, and the lake only came up 5 feet. So it wasn't like we had some major flood like we can get here. So yeah, it was really nice. What's kind of been working for you? What's been the ticket here so far?
Well, kind of the standard fare for spring temps. Like you say, we're just getting into those warmer temps with the recent warm weather. But I have a few things pulled out that always work in the springtime for me. And, the old tried and true hellhound, buddy, is super solid. I throw the 6-inch. This is the Hell Puppy. All the custom color on that bad boy, bluegill color. Right now we have a lot of panfish spawning, so bluegill and crappie colors are kind of consistent that I use a lot. Obviously, depending on the lake. I do love the old squirrely 8-incher. This is a Team Rhino Outdoors Goldfish. As you can tell, Greg, this one has been in the mouth of a lot of musky.
Yeah.
It's not alone in my hellhound collection. This one's probably caught 50 fish or more. So something I rely on a lot, especially in those earlier temps when we're in the 50s to low to mid 60s. These glide baits are super consistent. I love the hellhound. It's easy to work, not too expensive. I can give it to just about any client in the world, and they can make it look real, make it get bit. So I use those a lot. We also throw the old Slammer 5-incher. We do a lot of twitching early season, and I know you do that too. This has been a pretty consistent producer for me, and Slammers.
Cool pattern.
Yeah, this is kind of a custom Steve Genson.
Is that a Sharpie?
Atomic crappie, Sharpie work there, but worked well. Like I was mentioning, we're related to a lot of crappie and bluegill spawning this time of year. This little 5-inch Slammer minnow, the deep minnow, twitches well, gets me down in that new rising green weeds, which the weeds are coming up pretty well, but Certain lakes are certainly down there a little bit, so this gets you down in that depth zone where you're kind of touching those tops and wiggling through. Usually throwing on a little twister tail on the end, just to make them look just a little bit better. But this one's caught a ton of muskies in the springtime. Love it in May and early June. And
What
also
color is
catches those
that?
species as well. This is one of Team Rhinos. I don't know what he calls. I think baby bass or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just a green fishy color.
Mm-hmm.
Gets eaten all the time. And we catch bass, we catch walleye, we catch pike, so it's kind of fun for clients to fish that way as well. This year, most of our fish have come on in the old Musky Innovation Swimming Dog.
That bait there has actually been good. This last week when the water came up, the fish pushed back in the bays with the shad, and actually that bait right there,
the one in my hand.
Yeah, caught 3 or 4 fish, that ghost white pearl, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's pearl. This one's gotten eaten numerous times this week for me as well, Greg. You can tell she's pretty well chewed. And honestly, it amazes me how many fish you can catch on these little guys without them getting torn up, especially with muskies. They usually inhale them head first, so you're losing those tails. The pike are the problem on the tails. Mm-hmm. Occasionally I will lose a tail, but this one has probably caught at least 10 muskies and still swimming strong. So that was been very good.
How do you fish that, Steve? How are you having guys?
Right now it's primarily a straight retrieve with a few pulses and a few stutter stops. Not ripping, not jerking. Swimming it, and making it look like basically a vulnerable fish that's just kind of wobbling along, not aware. Like I say, occasional pulse forward, and occasional stutter stop. But nothing too wild, and always good smooth figure eights. They love to chase that bait into the 8, just like bucktails, for whatever reason. And usually just increasing your speed a little bit as you go into the 8 is usually key to get them to bite there. So that's been a cool bait. Here's been a little secret for us this year. I'm not this year, but a lot of years. So we're just using a swim jig, saltwater swim jig. 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce. I'm putting a 5 or 6 inch paddle tail on there. This one here is a local company called Pro Tour Bait, 6 inch swim minnow. The Crush City Havoc, I think it was a 5 inch or 6 inch on a 1 ounce. Caught a 36 inch this week. Something that I do a little bit in early season. Again, another fun way to fish. Fish is very weedless, and a multitude of species will bite that, but the muskies bite it way more than you'd think, Greg. And I'm even catching muskies on little 3 inches sometimes when we're multi-species fishing. But when we upsize to that 5, 6, 7 inch range, a little bigger jig head, so you have that nice gap. I use saltwater jigs that I bring back from the ocean. They have a nice big hook, big gap, and they have that swimming head, that narrow head, so it's kind of wiggles through the weeds. Fish is very weedless. Fishes very easily and also catches fish. So that's been something we've been doing a little bit here early season, and we caught a couple fish on it, and we got a nice one this week on that. So
on that right there, are you throwing it on standard bait casting equipment, or are you downsizing?
I have one little downsize, kind of like we do for the rattle traps, like you guys do, just a little bit lighter spool, maybe 50-pound test on maybe a 100, 200 size bait caster, a little bit lighter St. Croix. And it works awesome. And sometimes I'll even throw it on a larger spinning rod. It works well on that, depending on who's throwing and things like that. But it's a cool little bait. Catches fish.
Yeah, no, it's funny how the swim baits have came into the musky world in the last 10 years, and a lot of companies now making them and everything, and they're the subtlety, I think, is what really attracts the fish. Now, are you fishing dirty water now, clear water? What's kind of been your...
Great question, and I have it all. Like I say, we've caught muskies, I think, out of 5 different lakes. So I started on that dirty water, the smaller lakes, and been targeting lakes less than 500 acres for the most part. They just warm up faster. The spawn gets done earlier. Everything, the food chain just kind of gets moving a little bit quicker in those types of systems. I have started venturing onto some bigger systems this week. Had some action on those mid-sized systems in the 1 to 2,000 acre range. Caught some fish on them yesterday. And then today we made a jump to one of our bigger systems, deeper, clear lake. that is where that 45-inch tiger was caught a couple
Okay.
of days ago, and we didn't have a lot going, man. Caught a few nice pike, but we moved one fish on the Moon underfoot major today, and that was the only muskie we saw. Had no bite, so I felt like maybe just pushing that a little bit early. Though the darker water is definitely a little bit warmer, and now that we get through those 80s, sometimes those little lakes kind of stall out. So I'll keep venturing onto the bigger stuff, but it certainly wasn't the right move to make today, maybe, or it could have just been the day. Musky fishing being what it is, but I felt like I've been having a ton of action on most lakes in the area until today. So
yeah, no, I get it. And that's one thing that you guys up there are so fortunate to have, is you do have a lot of options. Here in Kentucky, we have one lake, but I swear, the more I fish down here, we do have one lake, but we've got we've got a lot of rivers and tributaries and stuff like that, and just basically pulling the boat and going and trying some of these different these different areas has really helped. And they almost fish like different lakes, like what you're doing. Headwaters fish is different than the main lake. And once I started really doing that and not being locked in on the main body, it really makes a difference, and you stumble into some really good bites sometimes, and it really makes a nice deal. Have you had much action on bigger stuff yet, or has it been mainly smaller?
So like you said, yeah, today's the first time where I really got into some bigger water. The small lakes have been going good. I haven't been on rivers much, or sometimes I do early season, but we've had the warmth, and I've just had a few lakes that have been popping good, so I'm sticking to that. Today we tried a little bit bigger water and a little bit clearer water, and just not a lot going there. And the water temp was probably about 3-4 degrees less, upper mid 60s rather than those upper 60s, mid to low 70s. So whether that's a difference or not, but like you say, when you stick your foot in the water, a foot down, it's not what your temperature gauge is reading this time of year.
No, it definitely isn't. When do you start transitioning more to those clear water lakes, those bigger lakes?
So, as we get through this late to mid-June period, and, with this consistent warm weather that we're going to have, I'm expecting those lakes to start popping probably sooner than later. Once we get a lot of that warm weather, those little dark lakes do seem to kind of stall out. So I'll just look for the signs, keep popping around, and when those lakes start to slow down, I'll venture more onto those bigger lakes. And that July and August period, I'm spending a lot of time on deep clear systems. Those are generally the ones that are the best for me during that period, moving away from those shallower flowages. And this time of year, those shallower flowages are predominant. So it's an ever-changing puzzle, which is fun.
No, I totally get it. It seems like that, if you can, and I would say too, once you start getting to those bigger lakes and everything, you're probably definitely seeing some fish, some bigger fish show up. I talked to Brian Schaefer a couple nights ago. I was talking to him, and he said that over in the eastern Wisconsin area, he's starting to see some of the bigger fish show up and get a little more active. He spends a lot of times on flowages, some dirty water there, and he said he was really liking what he was seeing, and stuff starting to go. Have you seen any spawning fish, or you think a lot of that's done in those little lakes?
Yeah, I think we're pretty well past that here.
The fish beat up at all?
Sorry here. I'm just doing a little. There we go. I have not seen a lot of beat up fish, to be honest. Things are looking pretty good. I did see a scarred one today, but I think that was because it was caught before. So I think we're kind of past that. Not that there isn't a few in those deeper systems that maybe haven't gone, but feeling pretty good about that. I think we're pretty well past the spawn. And the fish you've caught this week have all been really spunky, man. They're hitting hard, fighting hard. They're little jerks in the net. They just don't want to be handled. So you can see the obvious signs of increased metabolism. Every fish that I've had in the net this week has had another fish in its belly, bluegill, crappie, whatever it is in there. But everybody's got something in their belly, which is interesting too to me. Also signs that metabolism is increasing, activity level is increasing. They're going to start chewing even better, larger baits, faster moving things. All that should come into play, but definitely seeing good signs.
Yeah, well, that's good. How's the rest? How do you see the season progressing right now?
So, a lot of warm weather right now is okay, but hopefully it eases up a little bit. Just like you, it occasionally gets warm here. We're in northern Wisconsin, so typically I don't have a lot of time where I have to take off from chasing muskie, but right now our water temps are, upper 60s to low 70s most places on those big lakes, especially mid to low 60 or mid to upper 60s, so we got plenty of time for that. As the weeds progress, food chain progresses, activity levels increase, should be good. Everywhere I was today, I saw a lot of food. So that's awesome. I think there's a lot of good things going on in a lot of the lakes here. We seem to have high bait fish, good crappie populations, good shiner populations, good perch. Today we saw lots of schools of your perch. So just seeing the life. When you're on the life, you're on the muskie.
Yeah. So what, how's your bait selection going to go as the year progresses?
We're waiting for this warm weather to kick in that bucktail bite. It's coming. We'll start throwing some more blades, but usually early season, predominantly it's a rubber thing. So I'm going to start ripping rubber, which I threw a tube a lot today. In fact, that's one other bait that I'm throwing a lot, Greg, is, red October tubes, and they're no secret anymore, but I throw the 6-inch Ninja tube a lot early season, and then we'll transition into that 10-inch. I throw the mid-depth weighted rig the most. Play with the shallow rig just a little, but as we progress, that rubber bite seems to go pretty well through June into early July, and then we get into those consistent warm temps. You get into that summer peak. And then we have a pretty good blade bite depending on the weather conditions of the day, the lake that I'm on, and all that good stuff. That's usually a pretty solid bite through the warm portion of our season.
Now with the tube there, are you throwing it with much out the back, like any kind of blade or anything like
that? I've got a million different ones rigged, just as you do. I have double tails on some. I do have blades on some, but I'll be honest, I catch most fish on unrigged, so nothing really special off the back. Just that quick dead dying fish action, but I do like to play occasionally. Yeah, they're way more erratic. The blades kind of slow them down. They don't. There is times where they like it. Don't get me wrong, but I think in general, most of the time, I prefer what I would call a naked tube, meaning no other rigging on it.
Sure. I like the blades for the woods just because it helps keep them out of the rocks.
Yeah. So it gives you a little more hover time. They have a slower fall. When I'm predominantly using tubes here, I'm targeting deep weeds that are going from like 10 feet all the way down to 20 feet. So I want that tube to dive quickly sometimes down that wall. And when you get the feel of kind of walking that tube down those tops of those weeds into those depths, while making it look real erratic, it can be definitely a deadly technique.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I totally see that. Have you seen much in open water yet, or has everything been mainly?
Everything is pretty shoreline related, and even on the graph, it's pretty dead out there. Not that there isn't a big old hog swimming around. A lot of those big girls do go deep right away, but I don't spend a lot of time just looking for the needle in the haystack. We're looking for the most action, and we're staying around the most life. And honestly, today, like I was seeing tremendous schools of shiners, tremendous schools of young of the year perch. We still have a lot of crappie and bluegill relating to the shallow weeds. Basically everything is there. Even my multi-species fishing, I'm throwing pretty shallow water. We're catching a lot of bass, a lot of walleye, a lot of pike. So all things are still kind of relating to those new green weeds.
Sure. No, I totally get that. What is there anything new that you found this year at the sports shows or something that's got you excited? Or
there is a few things, Greg, and I'm late to the party on a lot of stuff, but I actually grabbed a couple things out of the boat that I have been playing with, and I don't know if you use these bad boys.
Oh, yeah.
You should.
Yes.
The Wave product by Austin Wegerman, man. I got a couple of these this year, and been super stoked about them. Really organizing the rods well. I actually like them for multi-species just as much for musky, and of course I bought it for my musky setups. But keeps everything lined up, keeps place for the clients, know where to put the rod down. So you know how it is with clients; they're putting rods every freaking direction everywhere, and you can always tell them where to lay them, but they don't always do it. Now with this wave organizer, people are recognizing, hey, we got a nice rod rack here, and it really has been a pretty awesome.
No, I like them for me. Where in the South I troll and cast. I got two of them. I got one just for trolling rods, and I got one for the casting rods. It keeps things, the disaster of picking up one rod and 30.
Yeah, exactly.
And they do come in really nice. Let me ask you, when you string a lure up on a rod, do you put the back hook on, or the front hook?
Yep, I'm always a back hook guy.
Exactly. It makes more sense. Absolutely. I get so annoyed when I see the front hook because those other hooks just get hung and everything, and you pick it up, and it's just, you got 6 rods with it now. So exactly, always string with the back hook. I don't know why.
Back hook.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people just put the front hook. That never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me.
Well, just like how you tell them where to lay a rod and which direction to point the tip each time, and they will resist your efforts almost, without repent. It's pretty funny, but I think they'll be trainable now that we have the old wave product. Rod organizer.
I like the tip under my feet. I think that's the best place to put it.
Exactly.
I can step on it. That's what I enjoy.
On the side, or some of them even hold on to them while you're trying to run. I'm like, you're really going to hold on to that rod while we go for a ride here? All right, we're going to set that thing down over here.
Yeah. We do not need another lightning attraction while doing this.
So that's been a cool product. The old wave, I definitely think I should check that out. The other thing that I add to the boat, which I can't show you here, and I don't know if you use these, Greg, but you should, is the Musky Buddy from Net Buddy. It is a rod puck that you can slide your net into once you bag a fish. I've been the guy who props the handle under the tackle box for years and years, and it's worked fine. But I've really, really enjoyed having the Net Buddy this year. We've put a bunch of fish in the bag.
I haven't got into that yet, and I think I'm the last one. I'm the guy that sticks the rod butt in the seat and shuts the seat down.
So I thought I was the last one.
No,
get with it, man.
It's me. I've not done it yet, and I should. Or I'm the guy that's
been a great upgrade, and I'll tell you why. It's not just having a convenient place to put the net, but it pivots in there, Greg, so you can pivot the net all the way around, so you can work on the fish. You can pull the bag up so you can get the fish. So much easier for clients to be able to get a hold of fish. A lot of times I will grab the fish and pull it on the bag for them, but so much easier to work on them, and I can pivot it both ways. Really cool product, and I was like, I'm for not having this for so long.
No more saying.
So you are too.
No. Yeah, I'm still stupid on this one. There's no more saying, all right, you got your foot on it? And who's got their foot on it?
Right. Who's holding that?
Yeah, who's got their foot on it? That's definitely, I gotta do it. I'm gonna have to get one. I've had
don't be a fool. Don't be a fool.
Yeah. Well, I'm stubborn sometimes, and this is I've been a holdout. I just haven't done it. But what else you got there?
All right, other cool new product: Stealth Tackle. Titanium. See that bad boy?
Okay, I've not done the titaniums.
Oh, Greg, here's the next thing you need to learn about. Johnny came out with these this year. Got in the titanium game. I know you're a Stealth Tackle guy. This is a pretty amazing leader. It is indestructible as far as I can tell. He's making the 9-incher right now. So basically I use that 9-inch straight wire for most of my glide baits, my twitch baits. I like having that wire in front of it. Creates that pendulum for those lures to swing on. The bummer about those straight wire leaders is when you're doing a lot of gliding, they hang on there, they kink the leader, you kink it back, they kink the leader, you kink it back. Eventually it gets weakened, and you got to change it up. For my straight retrieve stuff, I'm generally throwing that. I love that ST130 fluorocarbon. I throw that a lot. But a lot of my darker water lakes, I'm still throwing, steel leader in front. The titanium is extremely bendable. It bends in every direction. I'll pull one out and show you guys what it does, but it also has the firmness that allows me to throw the hellhound, all my glide baits, all my twitch baits. They respond very well to it, which was really the big test that I wanted to see. And I've been able to fish a lot this week, and I've been very, very impressed. But here it is, titanium that you can literally bend in circles, loops, go straight back every time. So you can hang your glide bait on this thing 10,000 times, and it's never going to kink. Johnny stayed away from titanium for one reason. Most titanium leaders are built with a crimp. Crimps fail. We all know that. He doesn't use crimps for a reason. He glues, ties, and crimps in most of his fluorocarbon leaders. He figured out a way to twist titanium. As far as I know, he's the only one on earth that's doing that. So as long as these twists remain, which I think they will, I'm super impressed with this product. And it's, doesn't have the glory of a lure or a cool rod rack or anything like that, but as well as I do, Greg, that terminal tackle is the key link to having success with catching these huge fish and presenting our lures. And it's also, it's pretty important with a lot of the glide baits to have the proper leader in front. And this is definitely a pretty cool one. I still can't believe I can do that with it, and it does that.
Yeah.
So you need to get hold of some of those too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to, because I've actually went more because I'm fishing Lake of the Woods now in Canada. I've went to more solid wire leaders anyway, just because of the rocks and stuff. I've went to almost all just straight wire leaders like I used to use. And they work really, really nice. But, yeah, I'll have to text him and see what's going on with those things. I want to try them because
get your paws on a few. You're going to be impressed on. I only have a handful. He's just getting them out. I know Team Reno got a few this last week. So he's getting them out to the general public, something he's had over the shows this winter. And just another cool new product that, kind of goes on the radar. Doesn't have the flash and hype that all the lures do, but something definitely you Musky guys need to check out.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool, man. I like it. You got anything else?
That's most of my new stuff. The other thing I was going to talk about is our tagging program. So I do a lot of tagging with our DNR. I got tagging kit number 4. So I'm a pit tagger here in the counter at Sawyer County. I always have my reader with me. One of the few that is licensed to tag fish when I catch them. So every muskie that I catch in the county of Sawyer, I'm checking for an existing pit tag, which most of our stocked fish have now. Okay. And any fish that the DNR handles through the course of their fish handling processes, meaning fight netting in the spring and boom shocking in the fall, they get a pit tag. So I'm also out there and I'm chasing them down, and any fish that I catch that doesn't have an existing tag, I put a tag into as well. So we're building a huge database of tagged muskies here in the county. I think we're way over 10,000. I think maybe up to 20,000 fish tagged here in the county, which is pretty cool. So this is data that the DNR can use. Basically, we're seeing how fast these fish are growing, how long they're getting, how old they can be, if they're moving from lake to lake in certain systems. So just a lot of general data that they wouldn't necessarily have through their standard practices of monitoring fish. And the cool thing is I'm out there catching quite a few fish that are wild fish that they haven't handled. So right now, as far as I know, I think I've tagged more fish than any other participant in the pit tag program. So my guys here call me the pit tag master.
There you go.
And I'm going to keep jacking tags into them as long as I can. I think some of the younger guys, maybe over in the Eagle River area, will catch up to me. Those guys are aggressive and fishing hard, but just doing our part to kind of help the DNR get more data. Gives me a voice when talking to my local biologist. He understands that I'm out there fishing every day. He listens to what I'm seeing. Whether or not he can do things with that is up to him. But the reality is, at least I have a voice, and I'm doing my part in keeping track of these fish. And I think I'm helping quite a bit because I've tagged several hundred of these things for these guys. more than they had for quite a while. So it's a lot of fun, and obviously we're frustrated because we're not having more stocking. We always want more muskie and this, that, and the other thing, but at least we're doing our part and trying to monitor these fish and give them all the data that we can.
How is the data recorded? I mean, is it when you catch one, you tell it to relax and you jab it in there?
I do.
How do you? So do you write down 36-inch fish, what lake?
Yep. So that's exactly how it goes. Each tag is an individual tag. So just like you tag your pets when you have a chip implanted into them, every fish has an individual number that's assigned to them. And then anytime the DNR handles a fish that I've tagged, once I turn my data in, they will know when it was tagged, where it was tagged, how big it was, when it was tagged, and it was tagged by me. So all of those things are good information for them, and when they handle it in future surveys, gives them growth data, gives them length data. And now that we're tagging all of our stocking fingerlings, we're also getting age data, so we know exactly how old these fish are, which is kind of cool information. When I tag a wild fish that it hasn't been stocked, we don't necessarily know the exact age, right? But we do know its size and where it was, and then we can monitor it from there on to see how long it lives if it gets handled again as well. So,
what is some of the info that you guys have gathered? I mean, have you?
So that's pretty cool. It's amazing how far some of these fish do travel. We've had some wanderers that have wandered through numerous lakes and systems through some pretty small streams and creeks, which is kind of interesting data. I think it's rare that happens, but there has been a few unique individuals. And then they're learning really a lot about growth data and how fast these fish are growing in individual systems, right? So some systems, the fish grow much faster. They have a higher forage base, so growth rates are higher. Certain systems, the growth rates are a little slower. And now we're also gaining data on how long the fish are living. So, we're learning how long these fish that we stock, how long will they be there? How long do we expect these fish to be there? How long can they be there? Pretty good information. And as we continue to go with the program, that database just continues to increase.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Sometime maybe it'd be cool to get you and the biologist on here to talk about some of that. And how long?
Max has some cool stories, and I just turn in my data, and he sends me a lot of information back about each individual fish, and it's all pretty good information, but it's a lot, right, when you're doing as many as we do. So I don't really embrace the individuality of every fish, but they certainly do, and they monitor and track a lot of these fish, and it's going to be fun to see. Some of them they even give names as we go along because they handle them so much. And another cool thing is, I'm seeing my recatch data. Some of these fish I'm catching multiple times, Greg. Fish that I've stocked or that I've put tags into, and it's like, there's this one again. I recognize that sucker. We caught him before. So kind of cool stuff too about recaptures. How many times they can be handled and recaptured, and some fish it's a ton, and some fish you tag and never see again, which is kind of interesting information as well.
Sure.
Muskies being muskies as they are.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd like to get more in depth with that. You and him kind of talking about that. I think that would be a cool thing for the listeners. It'd be a good winter.
For sure.
And to do that, but well, Steve, man, hey, I appreciate you coming on here with me tonight. I'm glad we were able to get this done and worked out. I know you're busy fishing, and the last thing you want to do is
tis the season, it's trying to get all you podcasters off my back. I did a backlash not too long ago and got you handled, so it's time to get into hardcore fishing and enjoying the season. But I do appreciate everybody's support and having me on.
Yeah, well, I know the last thing you want to do is talk to my ugly ass in the evening after getting off the water. But how can somebody get a hold of you if they want to go fishing?
Well, it looks like you got my info there. It's Genson's Fish Hunts, www.fishhunt.com. We'll get you to my website, all my information, including rates and the trips that I provide. Been guiding the Hayward area for, this is year 26. Oh, man, we're getting old, Greg. The years are ticking by. Full-time fishing here is how I make my living. Do some multi-species stuff early season, but primarily musky from about this time on through the end of season here. You can also look me up on Facebook at Steve Genson or Jenson's Fish Hunts as well. Cell phone, 715-558-3709. That's always the easiest.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate it. And guys, just here at the end, if you're looking for buying some new products or something like that, check out Thorn Bros, thornbros.com. They've got a ton of stuff over there in the Minneapolis area. They've got a huge website that you can check them out at thornbros.com if you're looking for anything from tackle to rods to electronics. They've got a whole electronics department there that is way more dorky than me and can really get you all figured out there, rods and reels and all that good stuff. And as always, I do, if you're looking for new apparel, the Gill products are always nice. Been wearing their rain suits for a few years now. And like I always say, if you're too fat to wear Sims, try Gill. It's some really, really cool stuff. And I think you're going to like it. Steve, as always, I really appreciate you coming on here. And if you could just hold on for a little bit, okay?
Yeah, you betcha, but anytime.